don't shoot for perfection. Unless you're an Olympic athlete, like, you don't need it. Good enough is good enough. You know, and if you are in that top 10% and you're going for like Ranger School or dive school or whatever selection, sure, you know, for that 3 to 6 to 9 months before, you should be a little bit more dialed. You should be maybe great instead of good enough. But nobody's going to be perfect, right? And if you're trying to be perfect and every time that slips up, you just restart as if it's going to be different the next time, like, you're just shooting yourself in both feet and knees and shoulders. Like, you're just completely inhibiting your own progress. Like, just be good enough. Just be good enough. Your diet doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to track every calorie. You don't have to track every macro. You don't have to weigh your food all the time, as long as what you're doing is working, right? You don't have to go to the gym 7 days a week. In fact, for 95% of people, you should never go to the gym 7 days a week. Just move your body, lift heavy weights 3 times a week at a minimum, right? Like, for 90% of you guys watching this, that's more than enough. And if you've been doing 0 for the last 6 months, once is great, twice is great, 3 times is awesome. Like, you can't go from 0 to 100. And the part 2 I was kind of alluding to earlier is, like, the actual habits and the application of this have to be built, right? If you're going from 0, like, you haven't worked out, you haven't trained, you haven't whatever in 6 months, what makes you think you can just parachute back into that way of living and that lifestyle and that habits? Like, these are pathways in our brain that it's use it or lose it, right? And they can come back quick. But it's the same way, like, if you haven't lifted in 3 years, you wouldn't go leg press 750 pounds, right? If you haven't worked out or woken up early 1 day a week for the last 6 months, what makes you think you can get up at 4:30 in the morning to do your cold plunge and sauna and red light therapy and gym for 2 hours before your 10-hour workday? Like, in what universe is that realistically attainable for you? You know what I mean? Like, so just stop putting these unrealistic expectations on yourself and you'll start winning a lot more.